New York Giants last year 4-13.
Someone's got to support him.
31st ranked offense, last in points per drive, thanks to Jason Garrett. 23rd ranked defense. But Giants fans should be feeling some life, right? Because they fired their staff. Now they have new staff in. Brian Dable, Mike Kafka, Don Martindale, who's been a respected defensive coordinator in the league. They made some great draft moves. Now, Drew, you think Daniel Jones is going to take a leap and be a Pro Bowl quarterback this year. So where do you see the Giants finishing?
Daniel Jones, truther.
I'll go as far, I'm not going to go as far as say he's a Pro Bowler. I just think that he's a starter. That's all I'm going to say. I believe that Daniel Jones deserves to be a starter in this league. Now, I get it. History has not boded well for my friend DJ. He's a turnover machine, fumbles well more than he should. Yes, well too often. Thank you very much. But I see the vision, and I see that he's a solid passer. He really is. Last season, we were here sitting at this table early in the year. Is Daniel Jones' time now? He was impressing us, both with his arm and his legs. That Dallas game, he gets popped. Just the season was just completely altered after that. Saquon goes down in that game too. Kenny Golladay was hurt. Andrew Thomas missed some games as well. And when Andrew Thomas is in the lineup, it's absolutely night and day. Andrew Thomas is one of the more elite left tackles in the game. And then you draft Evan Neal. You solidify this offensive line a little bit more. Anything's better than what you were putting out last season. But you bring in Evan Neal, a top tackle prospect. He's going to fill in at his natural position at right tackle. Defensively, you draft Kayvon Thibodeau. He should be exciting. I do believe that as of right now, I have Kayvon in that Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. I think it's going to be him and Aiden Hutchinson. But I just think that the energy that Kayvon gives is why I find myself correct. He believes in his game. He believes in himself. That's why I feel like I'm gravitating towards his play and towards him as my Defensive Rookie of the Year favorite. But even still, defensively, this roster is not that great. But offensively is where I look at, and that's where I'm excited. I trust Saquon Barkley. I don't care what last season showed me, where his yards per carry was atrocious, his worst of his NFL career. With a new play caller and Brian Dable, I do firmly believe that this offense will be tailored towards Saquon and his strengths. You don't run him in between the tackles. Run him outside. That's where he's at his best, where he's able to make things happen. And now with both Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal solidifying the outsides, I feel like he's going to be in a better position to do so. I believe that Daniel Jones needs to, this season, see Saquon Barkley more out of the backfield, because we've seen what happens when you get the ball into Saquon Barkley's hands. He's bound to make a big play happen. It's inevitable given his skill set. Bringing back Sterling Shepard was huge for me, given the fact that him and Sterling, him being DJ Jones, that seems to be his favorite weapon, his weapon that he is most consistent with. When Sterling was out of the lineup, we saw DJ start to take a little bit of a hit as well. And I would love to see Kenny Golladay stay healthy with the Giants. I really would. Kenny Golladay is getting paid $17 million a season for him to be absolutely butt.
$17 million is honestly a steal now.
I don't disagree at all, but even still, at the time, it was one of the higher wide receiver contracts. I think now with Brian Dable, Daniel Jones is going to be put in a situation to succeed. And he will show that he is a starter in this league. Now, I don't think it's going to translate too much in the wins, losses, but I don't think they're going to be among the absolute worst of the bunch in the NFL this season. I'm only going to go through their wins. I have them beating Dallas at home. I have them beating Chicago at home. I have them beating Jacksonville on the road. I have them beating Seattle on the road. I have them beating Houston. I have them beating Washington at home. I have them beating Philadelphia, splitting with both Washington and Philadelphia. And that's it. I have them going with a record of 7-10. I have Dallas sweeping them.
I would argue that does translate to wins then. A 3-win upgrade is pretty big.
Last season, they were destroyed with injuries. We saw it. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the reason why they weren't the worst team in the league. However, one could take it as, with Daniel Jones, they're not the absolute worst team in the league. Without Daniel Jones, they're absolutely horrible. Well, probably the worst team in the league. That stretch of games,
Mike Lennon.
True or false, they were the worst team in the NFL.
They might have been the worst team I've ever seen in my life.
And what's so funny about that is I agree wholeheartedly. It was hard to watch them where on a 4th and 9? Was it 3rd and 9? 3rd and 9? QB sneak.
Yeah.
So I do believe with Daniel Jones, with Brian Dable, this offense will be more successful than last season so long as everything stays healthy. I believe 7 wins is the translation.
I don't know if you saw this report, but a random NFL coach said that Saquon Barkley doesn't know how to play running back.
That's insanity.
He said, I'm down on him. He still doesn't know how to play running back enough. He's a bouncer. He wants every run to be a home run. He's going to have to learn that 4-yard runs in this league are good instead of stopping, cutting it back, and losing 2, and he gets his ass kicked in protection. That's what he said about
That's a crazy statement, I'll be honest.
Nah, he does get his ass kicked in protection, though.
I'm saying he can't play running back's insane.
Yeah.
Just can't interchange.
But he is a home run hitter, though.
Yes.
When you're Saquon Barkley,
He has the
you
ability.
have every right to do
you have
so.
all that success your rookie year. You want to duplicate it.
Did it again the next year, missing 4 games, still
Yeah.
1,000-yard run, still 1,000-yard rusher.
I think 7 wins is the absolute upside for the Giants. I think that's
I'm very
best
positive.
case scenario.
I don't
You get
disagree.
7 wins. To me, I think this is a throwaway year. I have them with 5 wins. I think they'll have a top 10, top 8-ish pick. Daniel Jones, for me, when someone shows you who they are, I think you just got to accept it. He has. He holds on the ball too long. He has injury problems. He has fumbling issues.
One injury
He
problem.
doesn't have good pocket presence. He has good escapability, but he doesn't have good pocket presence.
There's a difference.
Yeah, and he's not accurate. I think overall we know what Daniel Jones is.
Not
He's a good backup quarterback. I think that's what he is. He offers you some mobility at the quarterback position, and it's not all on him, right? He's had terrible coaching staffs, terrible offensive lines, wide receivers. But we know in the NFL you don't really get excuses. If you're bad at quarterback, if you don't perform up to expectation, they're going to move on to you. We saw that with Darnold. We saw that with Baker this past year after they got to Sean when they upgraded. But I do like the additions they made this offseason. Evan Neal and Kayvon were 2 of my favorite prospects in this draft. I think having a tackle duo of Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal is going to be one of the best in the league within the next couple of years. But really, you said you're excited offensively. Outside of Kadarius Toney and kind of Saquon, no one really excites me.
Sterling.
I think Sterling and Slayton are guys.
If Sterling did not have success with Daniel, fine.
Bro, what's Sterling?
Slayton is a guy. I'm with you. He's not good. He should not be getting looks.
They're like the 30th to 40th best receivers.
Okay, fine, but you can't ignore the fact that Sterling has production.
Small sample sizes.
Fine.
Sterling also tore his Achilles.
He did. It's tragic.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's.
I did forget about that.
Yeah, I forgot
also.
about hell. What week did he tear it?
Early.
Like in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I forgot he tore his Achilles. Kenny Galladay, he's.
Yeah.
It's not great when he tear it.
Middle of the year?
So he played week 9-26, then he played 10-17, 11-1, then he played again 12-12, 12-19. It was just sporadic. Are you sure he tore his Achilles?
I'm pretty sure he injured it.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Unless he tore it in that last game.
I'll check it.
But yeah, moving on.
He did.
He started 7 games this past year, though.
I just listed all the games that he played, but he did.
But if you tear your Achilles, how do you come back?
7
in 2
months
weeks?
ago. I don't know.
Interesting. Whatever. Moving on. I want to talk a little bit about Saquon because I think there's kind of 2 people. We have a guy like this NFL anonymous executive, whoever he was.
He tore his Achilles
In
December 19th.
Correct.
December 19th. That was the last injury he had.
Got you.
Yep.
We have people
during week 15's loss.
So yeah, he's coming off a torn Achilles.
Yeah,
which
takes towards the end of the year too.
Yeah, it takes a while to recover from. Camp makers came back in 5-6 months, but that's not the norm. We have 2 groups of people. One think that it's Saquon's fault, right? We have guys that think he's just a home run hitter. He's not able to, play running back, which I think is insane. And you have another group that think that it's the offensive line, it's the play calling, it's the quarterback. His numbers last year weren't that great, right? You talked about his yards per carry being one of the lowest of his career. He was 43rd in yards after contact per attempt. He was 39th in missed tackles forced. He had 9 runs of 10-plus yards. So even on these opportunities where overall he had a decent amount of carries, 162, he really wasn't that great in terms of comparing him to the rest of the running backs. And he also only saw 8 or more defenders in the box 21% of the time, which is average. So it's not even like they're low in the box because they have to stop Saquon. No, it is about average in terms of that. I don't think Evan Neal changes everything. It's obviously an improvement. I don't think he makes Saquon back into that running back we saw his rookie or even sophomore year coming back from injury. So I think he'll be a fine player. I don't think you could look at him as this franchise running back, one of the best running backs in the league anymore. I definitely think out of the backfield, line him up at receivers, something they should do some more. Because when he gets the ball in space, I still think he's explosive. He can still take it to the crib. And then defensively, Kayvon and Azeez Ojulari, that's pretty enticing. I think if you're a Giants fan, interior defensive line is pretty solid as well. And Xavier McKinney is one of the better safeties in the league too. So they have some building blocks there. Overall, I have them going 5-12. I don't think they're that competitive. Like I said, top 10 pick. Throwaway year, but then next season you have $40-50 million in cap. You have a high draft pick. So, you should be excited.
The Giants are going to be an exciting bad team. That's what they're going to be.
So well said.
Now, I compare this to the Bills in 2017. Sean McDermott, first-year head coach. He inherits Tyrod Taylor, who we know Tyrod's good, but he's just a guy. And Tyrod is better than Daniel Jones, in my opinion. It's not even close.
Delete that.
In 2017, Tyrod Taylor had a very good year. 14 touchdowns, 4 picks. Would you consider that an efficient quarterback year? Yes. But the Bills still decided to draft a Josh Allen, who was one of the more talented but unpolished prospects in the draft. And now we know who Josh Allen is right now. The Giants are replacing Daniel Jones after this season. It's as simple as that. This roster isn't good enough to win enough games with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones isn't a quarterback that's going to elevate the play of a roster that isn't as talented as opposing rosters. The receiving core, one of the worst in the league.
Agreed.
Sterling Shepard, torn Achilles. How is he going to come back from that? Kenny Galladay, I don't believe in. Kadarius Toney, I don't believe in. Darius Slayton, I don't believe in. Is Wan'Dale Robinson maybe going to start? Joe Shane and Brian Dable traded up to get him in the second round.
I like Tony way more.
They're
than
very
Wan'Dale.
high on him. So Wan'Dale Robinson might be the starting receiver for the Giants. I wouldn't rule it out.
Nah, it's
Now
Tony Galladay, bro.
The offensive line, I like. Mark Glowinski, John Feliciano, Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas. It's an okay offensive line.
Serviceable.
They definitely upgraded. I'm not a fan of Saquon. I think there's a chance that they move off from Saquon after this season as well.
I hope so.
Gotta
And
pay him. So.
Get him out of New York.
The defensive line is good, but the secondary, outside of Adoree Jackson, I'm talking about corners, it's a bunch of unknowns.
Agreed.
And Adoree Jackson is a guy that has gotten injured a lot throughout his career and has been inconsistent as well. So I don't trust him. Ultimately, these are my 3 question marks with the Giants. How improved will their offensive line be? Will their wide receivers stay healthy? And can Daniel Jones play? That's really it. Daniel Jones, even at his best, is still a bottom 20 quarterback. I don't think he's anything more than that. Like you said, I think they get a high pick. They spend it on a quarterback, whether it's a Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, one of those guys, and then they move forward. With the cap space they have, they're going to go 6-11 this year. I think a 2-win upgrade is reasonable.
At his best, he can't be better than Jameis Winston.
No.
Oh, my God.
I don't think so.
At his best, he can't be better than Winston? Are you kidding me?
Probably not.
He can't be better than Mac Jones?
No. No.
There's actually no
Mac
way.
Jones clears that fraud.
Like, Daniel Jones could be out of a job halfway through the season.
He can be better than Carson Wentz?
Daniel Jones has
He can be better than Ryan Tannehill?
Daniel Jones has a 3-game.
can be.
No, he can't. No.
Oh, my
We're
God.
talking about Ryan Tannehill.
He could be
here.
better than Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold,
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, Drew Lock.
Dude,
Those
can
are
he
the guys that could be better
Wait, can he
than.
be better than Jared Goff?
Yes.
What about Tua?
No.
Oh, Jared.
Jared Goff's the closest. Goff is the closest.
Nah.
Goff's not going to turn the ball
Be
over
better
as
than
much.
Baker?
Nah.
He can be.
No, bro.
He can be.
No, he cannot.
He can be.
There's
Baker
like a
clears that
5%
fraud.
chance
He can be
clears
better
these
than your
guys.
boy, Zach Wilson.
Get
He
the fuck
can
outta
be.
here. We're going to end the show now.
Nah, you're bugging, bro.
He can be.
There's a 1% chance fucking I go to the
my
moon tomorrow,
God,
bro.
no.
Like, you can
No,
be. Yeah, bro,
no.
there's a 2% chance it happens.
No, I'm sorry.
not.
It's wildly incorrect.
Okay, so what? You give him a 50% chance to be better than Baker, Jameis?
Yeah.
You're wilding, bro.
Why?
Daniel Jones sucks.
Sucks is so strong.
He's not a good. Daniel. I'm sorry if you're listening, bro. That was
You
rude.
saw him in the club. I'm glad he didn't say hi to you.
I didn't say hi to him.
You don't deserve
Don't
it.
get
No,
twisted.
no,
I
no.
didn't say
He
hi
saw
to him.
you. He was like,
I didn't
ugh.
say hi to him.
Disgusting.
Daniel Jones, he's for an NFL quarterback, he is not the guy you want.